Hello, fellow gardeners. It's Tuesday, May 12th, and I haven't killed everything. Some things are still alive, such as these marigolds here. So this is the first time I've ever grown flowers. No idea what I'm doing. There's totally too many flowers in these cups. I did not thin them out. I felt really bad about essentially killing the other flower. So, I noticed this morning. Zoom in here. Pretty sure that's a flower head. Now, my guess is these marigolds are stressed out. In just a moment, we're going to take a look at the root base, and we'll see that most of these, if not all of them, maybe with the exception of the marigolds that are only one per cup, all of these are going to be root bound for sure. So today, my goal is to repot these kinda in a slightly larger cup. I do plan on putting them out in the next couple weeks. So they only have to hold out for a little bit longer. Now, two things I wanted to point out, one being the early flowering, and two being what I think is cold/wind damage. I was hardening these off a few days ago, and it was rather windy and a little chilly. Now, these aren't the only ones that have gotten damaged. Even the tomatoes suffered. What do you guys think? Is this from cold wind, not being hardened off properly, or too much of a temperature change? I wondered if it could be an overnutrient issue, because I was also feeding them, I think, too frequently, about once every week and a half, and it was a half 50% mixture. So I'm not sure if that's too much for these guys. But I think they're going to pull through. It's not all the leaves that are damaged. And of course, as this grows, these leaves right here will be close to the bottom. They're probably going to be taken off anyway at some point in its life. Well, I think it's time to repot these marigolds. Let's hope this goes well. All right, let's see what kind of trouble these marigolds got into. Oh, baby, yeah. So this is a single marigold flower plant. And as you can clearly see, assuming the camera is indeed focusing, this puppy is root bound. So we're gonna try and fix some of these. Well, this one has 4 growing and a 5th one just starting to sprout. I'm kind of afraid to look at this one, to be honest with you. Oh, it feels so stiff. Okay. Well, the soil is kind of dry in the bottom here. Smells normal. Okay. Out of fear of this just crumbling apart, I am going to repot this right away. So I have a very light mixture of like a planting mix suited for flowers. So that's what I have in the cup here. Now I'm going to have to bury this one a little deeper because the roots are exposed. I love repotting plants. One, you get to relive your childhood and play with dirt and make a huge mess. Unfortunately, your mother isn't there to help you clean it up, so you kind of got to take care of that. And I don't know, it has kind of a therapeutic value to it. Should we leave that little guy in there? Why not? I mean, they're crowded enough as they are. To be honest with you, I did not think 90 to 100% of the marigold seeds would indeed germinate. So I kind of doubled up. It was my first time growing marigolds, so I had no idea. Okay. Repot this guy. Normally I would be labeling these as I'm doing it. It's a bit too low. However, seeing as they're all marigolds, I don't really need to do that. There we go. Try something a little different this time. Okay. Perfect. This one has 3 of them, 2 medium-sized and 1 small marigold plant. Oh yeah, it's going to be pretty much the same story the whole way through. Just look at that level of root bound. I should start teasing the roots, as they call it, where you kind of break apart the roots a little so they're not all contained in that one glob. So maybe we'll try that here. Now the soil is kind of moist. I watered these about 24 hours ago. So we don't want to break the roots here, but we just kind of want to, you know, get them going in different directions other than the typical spiral they were getting stuck in. So I'm pretty happy with that. Just set this guy down here for a second. Oops, okay. Moving forward, doing this again next year, I'm definitely going to thin these out. And I'm only going to plant 1, maybe 2 marigold seeds per cup. It's a learning experience. Just because I'm uploading videos doesn't mean I have any idea what I'm talking about. Take everything with a grain of salt. Please do some additional research, cross-reference different videos that you watch. Because I'm pretty much in the same place as you guys. I'm here to learn. I would say these are more vlog videos than they are educational videos. While you may learn a thing or two that you didn't know by watching them, I certainly don't know exactly what I'm talking about 100% of the time. So we're going to tease those roots a little bit. Sounds a little kinky, but it's not. Trust me, the plants like it. Oh, I'm going to have to edit that out too. Kidding. Editing takes far too long. And I'm not very good at it, as you guys can tell. Okay. You can be a little rough with the plants, they don't mind. Of course, it varies by plant. The marigolds are doing good. Okay, here's another single marigold. Bam! Now, as you can see, I didn't fill the cup with soil either, so I could have had some more soil in there. Not a severe case of root bound, but it's definitely getting there. We'll do a bit of teasing here, get the roots going in different directions. Again, trying not to break them, just try and find the end of them. Just pull them out like that. Okay. A little more dirt. I'm just compacting the dirt a little around the edges where I put it in. Now, as you can see, I'm not planting these directly in the center. This one's quite on the edge. I'm not too concerned about that because in a week or two, I'm going to be planting these outside. If I was planting them in a pot in which they would stay in for the rest of the year, I would plant them more in the center so they have even root growth and you know, they just look more appealing to the eye if you're trying to go for that. But in my case, I'm not too concerned. So what does this guy have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 marigolds in this 8-ounce cup, which held maybe 5 ounces of soil, if that. Oof, they're starving. They need some more soil. Poor marigolds. I was so excited about them too. I should have given them the care and attention they deserved. I don't want to fuss with these too much. Plants don't like to be transplanted multiple times as it is. So I know this is definitely causing them a shock of some sort. You don't have to push the soil in too much, just enough to compact it a little. When you water these from the top, the water will naturally pull down the soil and settle it. Generally, when I'm starting my plants and I have them growing in these 8-ounce styrofoam cups, I water them from the bottom. So I'll set them in a tray of water. The water will absorb up to a certain point, all the way if you leave them in there for quite a long time. But I like underwatering my starting plants because it's an easy way to stop yourself from overwatering. When you're pouring water on the top, it's super easy to overwater, and overwatering can cause, obviously, damp conditions to exist on the top of your soil, and damp soil on the top promotes fungus gnats. Fungus gnats love to lay their eggs on the top layer of the soil, and if it's damp, that's the conditions in the environment that they thrive in. So I had a few fungus gnats when I first started, and then I immediately switched to bottom watering. I remembered from my early days of gardening, where I didn't know much more than I know now, and the fungus gnats went away because I was keeping that top layer of soil dry. Now, there were a few times where a plant needed water. I didn't want to, pull out a plate and fill it up with water and set the plant in, so I did just top water a little bit, and in 9 times out of 10, almost 100% of the time, there was a layer of like green moss or algae growing. And I had the fan blowing. It's a decent temperature in here. It's quite dry because it's still transitioning from winter to spring, so there isn't a lot of humidity in the air, yet I still had that green layer growing on the top of my moist soil. So whether that affects the plants at this young of an age, I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't look good. I didn't like it, so I made sure to bottom water and avoided all those problems. Although, when we move into the larger, I think these are 16-ounce cups, could be wrong, we don't have to bottom water anymore. We can top water. The plant should be at a strong enough age where they can handle top watering, although you still have to worry about some of the problems I just mentioned, such as overwatering. You never want to overwater your plants, and creating the conditions on the top of the soil that promote, fungus and disease and a breeding ground for insects like fungus gnats. And I just remembered I forgot to drill holes on the bottom. So we're gonna do that off camera, but don't forget, if you're using cups that aren't meant to grow plants, you're not gonna have holes on the bottom. They don't include holes on the bottom in drinking cups, unfortunately. So we're gonna drill the holes on the bottom afterwards. In these cups specifically, I like to drill the holes on the sides because, as you can see, the bottom's quite flat. You can put all the holes on the bottom you want, but when you set it on a flat surface, the water isn't going to be able to escape. So that's something you got to keep in mind too. Okay. Oh, we have another beefer right here. We got 5 in this one. It's kind of strange. The marigolds with a high number of plants in one cup sometimes seem to have less roots growing. I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe the lack of space stressed the plants out, so they stopped growing sooner, and the ones with only 1, 2, or 3 in it continuously grew through the whole cycle. I don't know. But this definitely needs some water. It's a little dry. The marigolds have an interesting smell to them. Once you start irritating the little hairs on them and their flower bulbs, yeah, this one's totally flowering. They have an interesting scent to them. I did not know that. Obviously flowers smile. What? I did not know that. Well, I think I'm going to do the rest of these off camera. All right, and that's that. That wasn't too difficult. For the most part, the marigolds are doing great. Aside from being root bound and having a bit of windburn here, I think they're doing wonderful.